Hello everyone. Today we will start with chapter number 2, Architecture of Business Intelligence and Data Warehouse. In this session, we will explore what are data cubes, OLAP and OLTP and the difference between them. So let's start with data cubes. So what are the data cubes? So it's shown in the figure. As shown in the figure, we can say that the data cubes are the three-dimensional cube of data. A data cube may be a 3D, 2D or the higher dimensional. The data cubes allows you to collect your data from multiple data sources, transform it and finally store it in the single place. In data cubes, data is stored in the multidimensional form. In cube, each dimension represents some attributes in the database and cells represent some measure of interest. It means we can compare our data cube with the relational database. In our relational database, it mainly has two features. One is a row and one is a column. So in a row, all the data are stored. In the column, all the attributes are there. While so we can compare these relational database with the data cubes. In the data cubes, each dimension represents the attributes, or we can compare these dimensions with the columns, while the data cells are compared with the rows, or the data is stored in the data cells. So this is the structure of data cube. In relational database, if we want some data from a database, and we are writing a queries, same as to access the data from data cubes, queries are applied on the cube to retrieve the necessary information. So this is the simple overview of data cube. The purpose of data cube is to store the data in the multidimensional form, so we can perform a complex query easily. For example, if I want to know the cells of August, cells of January, and I want to compare these cells from another database. So writing this query in the simple relational database is quite complex, but with the data group, because it has a multiple dimensions, the access of data is much easier. So this is all about what is a data cube. In simple words, we can say that it is a cube. It is a cube of data in which cells represents the data and the dimension represents the attributes. Next is a OLAP. OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing. These are also called the data warehouse or the DSS. DSS stands for the Decision Support System. Nowadays, all organizations maintains this OLAP database. The purpose of OLAP is analysis. When company needs to analyze the business, they need an OLAP. OLAP is a powerful data discovery tool designed to enable users to perform a multidimensional analysis of data. It consists of software tools that are used for the analysis and make a business decision. So based on that, we can say that OLAP also a multidimensional data cube which stores the data in the multidimensional form. Here the use of OLAP is to analysis. So we can compare the OLAP with the data warehouse. OLAP is a category of software that allows user to analyze information from multiple database systems at the same time. It is a technology that enables analysts to extract and view business data from a different point of view. It means that we have a multiple dimensions, so based on that we can create multiple views of data. Unlike a relational database, OLAP tools do not store individual transaction records in the two-dimensional row-by-row column format like a worksheet, but instead it uses multidimensional data structures known as data cubes to store the arrays of consolidated information. As I already said that OLAP does not store the data in the relational database. It stored the data into the data cubes. The data and formulas are stored in optimized multidimensional database, while views of the data are created on demand. It means that data are stored in the data cube. If we required any data from the data cubes, we are creating or we are writing the queries of it, and based on that we can fetch the data from the data cube. The use of OLAP are as follows. For example, a company might compare their mobile phone sales in September with the sales in the October, and then compare those results with another location which may stored in a separate database. So if we are writing this query in the relational database, as I already said, the query might be a complex. So we are using the OLAP because OLAP is a collection of multiple database and it is stored in the multidimensional form. So we can get the data, or we can get the right information from only one location, and by writing only just one query we can easily get the data. So the main purpose of OLAP is to write a complex query in the easy way and fetch the data from the OLAP server. So this is all about what is an OLAP. Next is a OLTP. OLTP means online transaction processing. It is a kind of relational database. OLTP is a category of data processing that is focused on the transaction-oriented tasks. It means that we are storing the day-to-day transaction data in the OLTP. The purpose of this database is storing the day-to-day transaction, and that is why it is called OLTP. OLTP mainly deals with large numbers of transactions by the large numbers of users. So every company needs an OLTP because we all know that each company are performing many transactions in one day. So that is why to storing the transaction we require the OLTP. So here we can say that each company requires a two database server. First is a OLTP for storing the day-to-day transactions. Next is a OLAP for the analysis purpose, and based on that company decides their business strategy. Yes. An example of OLTP system is ATM center. Assume that a two-person has a joint account with a bank. One day, both simultaneously reach a different ATM centers at the same time and want to withdraw the total amount present in their bank. However, the person that completes the authentication process first will be able to get the money. In this case, OLTP system makes sure that withdrawn amount will be never more than the amount present in the bank. Yes. The example of OLTP system are online airline ticket booking, sending a text message, order entry, add a book to a shopping cart. So we already know that, for example, if I book an airline ticket and I select the seat number 8, so it never happens that if I book a seat number 8, after the booking it gives me the seat number 28. Yes, that never happens. So this can be handled by the OLTP server. So this is about what is an OLTP and what is the OLAP server. Now the next is difference between the OLTP and OLAP. Now we already know that what is OLAP and what is OLTP. So the first difference is users. Because OLTP is used by the day-to-day transactionals, so it is used by the clerk or the IT professionals, while the OLAP is used by the knowledge workers. Function: day-to-day operation is performed in the OLTP, while the decision support is done by the OLAP server. Database design: OLTP is application oriented while the OLAP is subject oriented. Next is data. Because OLTP is stores the day-to-day transactions, so the data is current or the up-to-date details, while the OLAP stores the historical data. Uses: in OLTP it is a repetitive, while in OLAP it is ad hoc. Access: OLTP allows the CRUD operations create, read, write, update, while OLAP does not allow the CRUD operation because the purpose of it is to just analyze the data, so it only allows the read operation. Unit of work is short or the simple transaction, while the OLAP is for the complex query. The record access is a tens in the OLTP while the millions in the OLAP. Users, because it is a day-to-day transactional database, the users in the OLTP is much more than the OLAP, and the size of the database is also very less than the OLAP server. So this is the difference between the OLTP and OLAP server. That's it. From next lecture, we'll learn about the OLAP operations. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.